Hey Soul Tribe, it's Kate and Kerry.
We are so excited to have you hear this new episode. Please review and subscribe at the end. It's free and it helps us keep spreading our message to you, our awesome listener. Thanks so much and enjoy the episode.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Soulsessed Twins. This is Kate in New York. We're so excited to be here with you.
Hey guys, it's Kerry in California. Like Kate said, we're so excited to have another episode to give to you guys. And this one really I love because I feel like we come up against this throughout our life, actually. And it's something that needs to be continually worked on because life changes so much. So you can find yourself in new waters, which can have you feel not so confident, which is what our subject is about, which is confidence. And if you're lacking in it, how to build it. And so this episode really, I love because I need it.
Absolutely. I think we all do. And I think you hit it the nail on the head of saying that this isn't something that for my 48 years, now we're 48, cannot believe.
I know. You said that the other day. I was like, what? No, yeah, we're 48.
But for, my 48 years, it's never just gone away entirely. I think it's something that you do continue to build on, especially like as each phase in our life comes, so I love basically like the number one question that will really help us unwind not feeling confident is and not having self-esteem is feeling this question of, will I ever be enough?
Yeah, which is, I mean, I have felt like that my entire life and, have felt more confident when, you get your feet more on the ground and you're figuring things out. But I mean, up until even recently with Kate and I just starting on this whole venture, it's like it throws you off, right? It makes you feel like, oh my God, what are we doing? And will this ever work? Will we ever be enough? Are we good enough to do this? Who are we? Right? So
Yeah.
it really throws you off track and you have to get back to these. Kate and I listened to a really great episode by Jay Shetty that broke down into 4 areas to help, assess things, reassess things, and get you grounded to build that confidence again when you're stepping into new waters or find yourself just not feeling all that great, all that confident.
Yeah, we both love how he broke this down because it just makes it so much more tangible to be able to, there's always that question of like, where do I start? And to have like 4 specific categories helps us all with it. And so I love how he's saying, it was just like not feeling whatever that not enough is. I don't feel smart enough. I don't feel good enough. I don't feel fit enough. I don't, I don't feel hardworking enough. All of it, no matter what it is, you want to be finding that because it's not serving us anymore. We hear that all the time. Like it no longer serves me, and I really wanted to not use it because I'm so sick of hearing it.
No, you do. That's so funny.
But it's true. And, it's like maybe it came from school and maybe it came from our parents. And, it doesn't really matter. It's just that it doesn't work anymore of us feeling low self-esteem and not confident in ourselves. And there is, this whole then mindset of what happens when we stay in this state.
Yeah, and just really being able to look at it this way and broken down in this way, you really get to see how staying in this state just blocks and, blocks you from so much opportunity and from your own true path. Because it's true. One thing he pointed out, it's like it really keeps you in competition, right? It's like, what are you not good enough why are you not good enough for this thing? What are you not good enough for? Right. And that's when you're looking at somebody else like, I can remember my whole life. I mean, just like even in high school, in, kindergarten, it was like somebody's building blocks and I'm not able to, so I'm not good enough. Right? Where it's like to get the focus off others and just look at, okay, they're doing that. What can I do? Where am I at? And go from there. Keep the focus on ourselves and what our abilities are, at my capabilities, where I'm at with it, and go from there. But so much of my time was spent comparing myself to people that were ahead of me on some level, or it always seemed that way. Right? So you
Right.
want to get back to yourself. I'm like, but okay, great. But where am I at? Where are my abilities? What am I capable of? And that's what really, really helps build that confidence.
Exactly. Yeah. Staying in this mindset of, not feeling enough really cancels out any potential opportunities that are meant for us because our belief in these things, these people, these places are bigger and better than us. So then we reject them. If it comes our way, we don't think we're enough. We don't think we can handle it. So then we don't let it in. And that's really a mindset that, again, like it's not working anymore. It's keeping us stuck where God and the universe is asking you to now go to your next level, but you're not believing in that you can handle it, that it really is meant for you, the better opportunity.
Yeah.
And where, it comes from is also the comparison game of really compare and despair. And I definitely had that, my whole life of just what you just said, Kerry. But anytime we're looking outward for that validation, we're looking outward to see where we should be at a certain age, at, 24, at 37, at 48, like when we look like that, then we say, oh, it's already done. I should have already done that. I should be already. And it's such a rat race within ourselves and really takes us out of where we're supposed to be. It's like it cancels out our very own personal history until we meet that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like amazing just to really look at it like this because, it's an entire belief system that we're operating on. And if you don't shed light on it, you're just rejecting. I love that because when I really heard this being said, it was like you're operating on this belief system where you're wanting things to come your way, but you really believe once they do that you're not good enough to receive them.
Mm-hmm.
So you just keep it out and then you just keep and or don't even see it really because you don't think you're good enough for it. So it just keeps passing you by, passing you by. So, one thing that I always feel like is so important is to look at your thoughts. You have to look at your belief systems to see why are you in the boat you're in?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're believing you should be there. Whether that's good or bad, it's like I like my life. Yeah, because you believe you deserve it. I don't like my life because I believe I deserve it. Right? So to really look at that, to get into the why do I feel like I'm not good enough? And like you were saying, is like the timelines of other people. To get out of that and just get in your own timeline and focus where, the work can be done so change can happen.
Yeah, when I really heard that for the first time, compare and despair, it really resonated with me because I definitely was living like that, where are my friends? Where are they in this stage of life? Oh, I mean, even with finding my husband and getting married and doing all that, like I was light years ahead of them, at least 8 to 10 years ahead. Well, wait. Yes, it was. I mean, some of our friends got married like super young at 22 and even probably about that. But then in between those 20s, those years, I wasn't there. I wasn't doing what they were doing, no matter what they were doing. And so that compare and despair brings in, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing, enough. And it really is where substance abuse comes in. Because when we go on living like this for years, and the substance can be anything, it's drinking, it's eating, it's anger, it's criticism. What?
Shopping,
Yeah,
overspending.
exactly. It's whatever we're doing to not address the thing that's gnawing at us.
Oh, it's just unbelievable. It really is. Like, it's like seems so simple. It's like the hardest thing to do, but it really is like what is needed and what will change your life is like just to look at why do I feel this way? And that's where your journey begins and how to correct it. And just how debilitating this belief system is. Cause yeah, I mean, I just remember my whole life and yeah, like you're saying, people getting into college. Remember in high school, we are like, what?
My God,
I
devastating.
literally was like, wait, we were really going to high school to get into college? Like I thought I just couldn't believe it. I was like, what do you mean you got in? Got in what?
What do you mean you did homework? You studied, asshole? How did you not tell us?
What do you mean you have an A? What the fuck is going on?
I mean, all the more reason why no, I never discussed school or what I was getting, what grades. I just was like, oh, I like
Let's
that
go to a kegger. Is Daly's having a party?
complete. That was it. Like if I could have gotten an A in anything in high school, it was
Keg stands.
cake stands and the social organizer and bullying you into having a party.
Right, which is so funny because it literally ties into substance abuse.
Right,
Feeling
exactly.
good enough. What was I good enough at? Drinking and completely demoralizing myself. I was A
Yeah,
plus.
A plus. So I think like, yes, I felt like that all throughout, really up until I got sober. And it really made me think that I just put no value on what I had done up until that moment, because it was always, this feeling of it's not enough, I'm not enough. But when I was getting sober and during the time that I was getting sober, I realized that whole belief of it, no matter, you can't throw your life away. You can't throw your experiences away. And especially if whatever you've gone through can help anyone, someone else with your experience, it's not wasted.
Yeah. Well, I also like hearing this. It was really healing to me because, I mean, however my life has gone, it just seems so insane and crazy and stupid. And hearing this, it's like, no, it was on purpose. Why would you go through anything you go through for it to just be something to be humiliated about and just that's it? No, it's to help somebody else. However that is, it's my life. I just realized, like, really, really getting this, like, it's on purpose. It's happened that way on purpose, on design, so that we can help other people. Same with you.
Absolutely. Both of us, like without all those years, the worst battles, the excruciating mental, physical, and spiritual battles that we both individually endured because we were abusing ourselves with drinking and food and stealing and all those stuff. Without that experience, we don't have a podcast.
Right.
We we can't help you because all our education is our experience. There's no greater education than that. If I can say to you, I completely relate and I've been there and this is what I've done to get out of it, you're not going to listen to that,
Mhm. Yeah,
right?
exactly. Or someone like, I studied that in school. It's like, that's great. I've lived it and I've the real proof to tell on how to get on the other side of it. So it is like, whoa, it's all useful. It's so amazing, right? It's all for purpose. And, that's what this podcast, this particular one is about. It's like finding confidence in your life, in your path, right? And to look at it that way, it's like, oh my God, like give yourself credit, give your life meaning because it has it, right?
Yes. And, you know, when we hear, I think this is also like what messed me up, in thinking about my life and my approach to things and my thinking was when I was hearing the little like scratch, the little gnaw of there's more for you. There's more, right? And then I would be taking it as I'm not enough. I'm not doing enough. It's by
Mm.
thinking that way, I was throwing all of my incredible experience, my life's history out the window and declaring it useless when every step of our path prepares us for the next phase. And you can't get there without these tough moments, without these stepping stones of our past, what builds our past to this next phase.
Yeah, and acknowledging the importance of every step you've taken, right? And trying to dismiss it and throw it away, you're missing the gold. That's the step, right? So it's like by throwing it away, you're just like, where am I? What should I do? That's why you feel that way, lost, because you're not using what's happened on purpose to guide you to the next step.
And we get so tripped up on this because, it's not there's no medal for our experience. We didn't get all the cash and prizes. When we look at our past and we say, oh, that sucked. That wasn't enough. It's not enough. I'm not enough. Because experience and real value doesn't have a medal. It doesn't give you all the money in the world. The true success is helping each other and the experience that you have before someone. Like
Mhm.
there's no greater value in that. Even if you are successful in what you're doing and, killing it and all of that, it's worth nothing if you don't give it back to the next person that's coming up, right? Like I see that with my husband, with Andy. Like I can't believe how much help he gives these college kids that are just, work their ass off or now just coming out and remember how lost you felt? I mean, coming out of college, you don't know which way to go. Maybe you have an idea of the industry that you want to be in, but that's about as far as it goes.
Oh,
And to see the extent that Andy goes and meets with these guys and spends time on their resume and what's important and all that. I mean, it wouldn't, all of his experience and all of his success would mean nothing without it. And I see it physically. I see him doing that. And the real thing that lights him up is to give it back.
yeah, it's amazing. That's amazing because you're just having me realize like how many millionaires or people very successful kill themselves. They just jump off the bridge. It's like, it's not enough. It has to be regenerated. Like you have to, give it back for the full circle to exist. And in
Mhm.
order for that thing to pay off, whatever you're doing, it's to give it back, to give it to you, or to make meaning.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And it is amazing. And if you're stuck, if you're really in it, I feel like this is where faith comes in. And when you're really having a hard time, to try and start to say there's a reason, there's a purpose, and just to surrender to this process of getting you to the next level. I always saw pain too and struggle as punishment, as hurting me, is that I'm a bad person, as that I'm not enough. So like, the universe or God at the time, my thinking was I'm being punished. I'm going to stick it to you.
Mhm.
And that isn't our job. If we can see how to have faith, start to believe that, okay, this is meant for good. This is meant for me, for your next phase in life, that we're going to have faith and surrender the outcome of it, that there is a reason for it.
Yeah, when you stop fighting, right? When you cease fighting, then you can surrender into the meaning and direction and provision. And like, okay, this has to be for a reason. Otherwise, you're just going to stay feeling like shit. And the answers will come once you surrender to that, type of belief system of like, okay, this has to be on purpose. This has to be for a reason. Why would I just be put here to be, tortured and left feeling like, oh, what the fuck I'm doing? I'm so lost. Why would you be here for that? No, if you're feeling that way, lean into and look at what has already been done and how you can use it to get to your next phase.
100%. It's that surrender of seeing things the way that you've been seeing them. It needs to be and come into play. That really
Because I've been fighting it. It's like you feel embarrassed. You can feel embarrassed. You just feel like, oh, you want your whole past and your whole last experiences to just go away. It's like, just go away. This is like so dumb. I want to run as far as I can from this. It's so embarrassing or just stupid or useless. Nope. There's nowhere to run. It was in design for you to use it to be useful.
And I was thinking too, it's when we're thinking that we're not enough, it's like such a diss to God. Because
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if we're being brought to it, he's going to get us through it. It's his little knock saying, you're ready. I put you through all of this now. You're coming to the end of it. When we hear then that, maybe we're seeing the light, we're seeing that this new opportunity or this thing that's coming to us. That is God's part. That's the universe's part. That's your faith part. And that you don't have to worry about saying that if you're ready for it yet. If it's coming to you, you're ready. And I wanted to say too, is like taking that next step feels like shit. You don't feel full of confidence, like you're like the best you've ever felt or you're on top of the world. No, you feel afraid, you feel uncertain, you feel doubtful, you feel anxious and not enough. And this is where, for me, faith comes in, and knowing that it's not about you, but someone needs you in whatever role you're entering to help them into theirs.
Right. And always feeling like not qualified enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, you are. You have, and also too, there's so much comparison, with social media. It's so great, but we see people in their success already, in their massive numbers and all this stuff where it's like, oh my God, I'm not qualified, right? So we're seeing so much in front of us that's, already at the finish line. And that's why it's like, take everything you see with a grain of salt. Okay, that's somewhere where I'd like to be, but where am I at right now? Where I'm at right now is really important. It's a really important place to be right now. That's going to get me to where I want to go, but stay focused on where you are so you can get there.
Yeah, I love that too. I think for us of starting this podcast and this wellness journey, and there's more to come, stay tuned. But I think for us of not looking too far ahead. Of course, we have our idols in this industry of wellness and personal development and all of it, and even in sobriety. But like Kerry's saying, that they tend to be done with their struggle, with getting there. Of course, they have tons of their own shit that's at that level of struggle, but you don't want to look too far ahead to discourage yourself. We always just want to look a few years ahead to motivate. We want to motivate, not, right, discourage.
Right. And that's why they're saying, like, or what we say as well, it's like wherever you are right now, think of where you were 3 years ago. You have something to offer. Think of where you were a month ago. And so much has like unfolded for me in like this last weekend. So much came to light. Right? But it's true. And it's like to just keep going, like just to keep tuning in inward and just get right back to that faith of like, okay, I trust that this is on purpose. I trust this is for a reason. Reveal it to me now with certainty and clarity. Show me the next good inspired action to take. And something shows up. What?
Will you share what happened this weekend?
Oh, Jesus.
It's just too good. I gotta know.
No, so, like Kate and I are doing this whole thing, and like we're saying, it's so funny, is the outcome. We know what we want, right? We want to help other people. And we have a couple other ideas, on the stove that we're cooking away at, but it isn't happening right now, and it takes time to develop it, right? So with that, I'm also a realtor, and I have real estate is like, it's almost a crapshoot, right? You're like working and stuff, but you're not guaranteed a deal, right?
Yep.
And I'm a single mom. The market has changed a lot, and it throws, uncertainty throws you into panic, right? Because you're just like, you're worried, you're like, I don't know, what should I do, what's the next deal gonna come? And I just got quiet, and I just thought, the second I tapped into, this is too much worry, and it's too much risk, and it's too much on a wish and a prayer that something will come through for me. I need more certainty. And I looked online that, it just was like scrolling, and I see this guy wanting realtors to come and work for him to just write contracts where it's guaranteed income for, the month that you're going to make this much money. And that's what he's going to pay you. And I'm like, oh my God, just to surrender. And then I saw this like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, no. I'm like, no, that's not my thing. It's not good enough. And then I was like, God, give me certainty and direction and clarity. I'm open to receive your messages. I really need help. I want your help. I'm ready to receive. And then I was scrolling, and I was looking, being open to messages, and that came through again. And I thought, and it felt good. And that was it. I was like, oh my God, it feels good. I messaged him right away. I was like, I'm totally interested. I want to do this. And the weight off my shoulders was so profound, of just feeling like I needed more certainty. I need to know this coming in, and it was provided.
That is so incredible, because it's such a great segue into this
Right.
section of talking about the 4 types and categories of self-esteem and building confidence. And the first one is security and safety.
Totally.
Unbelievable. And what is that? Is that, it's feeling a sense of safety and security within our own self-worth. And I know growing up, if you're not, if you weren't given that entirely growing up, you then tend to look outward. You tend to then look and seek for the solution, for help, for safety, for security in other people. It's where codependency comes from, part of. And so what you just described, Kerry, is instead of the wing and a prayer and hoping, the outside, somebody's going to fix you, you took control and you went out and found what's going to secure you and keep you safe.
Yes.
That's, I mean, that's it. So that was the whole thing, was without doing it, it makes us, without building the security and the safety within ourselves, empowering ourselves to take care of ourselves, a slew of things happen. We will absolutely become codependent, hoping somebody else just takes care of us, or we push people away or let toxic people in.
Yep.
We allow anything, at least in order for it to fill the void of loneliness and being alone, because at least then you have that. And so this number one feeling of safety and security, and building it within ourselves and giving ourselves what we truly need to feel safe and secure. And I'm not saying then the outside relationships won't enhance it, but they won't abuse you. And you will have boundaries of what you're allowing to let in. And so safety and security is really for relationships, and learning then how, it's really the key to finding healthy ones, and finding a healthy relationship for yourself is when you find the self-worth within yourself first and foremost. You don't need somebody else to do that for you.
Yeah. And it really is a massive sense of empowerment, right? Because what I was feeling so insecure about and worried and all this is, yeah, it's like, when is something going to come to me? Which is a huge crapshoot. It's like, it may not. And the way you're looking at it is in such like desperate eyes that it's just a really insecure place to be. And what I was realizing was, once the second I had this, a surrendered moment of just like, okay, show me, provide. I want to take the reins here and help you guide me to what I need to do. My sense of security and safety was completely filled up because my basic needs were being met. You're going to feel so insecure when your basic needs are not secure or not certain, right? So when you don't have a secure income, just for example, a secure relationship, right? When you don't have something like that locked down, you can't feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
So these basic, survival instincts need to be met and, intact in order to then go to the next level, right? I mean, it's just like a baby. They can't grow unless they know they're being fed, they're loved, and they're taken care of. They're sleeping indoors, right? So then they thrive. Same thing for us. We have to make sure our basic needs are being met, then security and safety can be built.
Love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Did you want to say anything else, or did you want to go to the next level? I mean, the next one.
Next one.
So the next one that is, this actually to me is, what is it called? The bedrock. This is like bedrock to me, is identity. So your identity, and, for so long, I'm like, what is my identity? Like, how do you, right?
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, like, I'm just like, who am I? Like, what? And so when you start to look at it like, okay, well, a great way to start to understand what your identity is and who you are what are your values, right?
Yeah.
What do you value? What do you value in yourself? And what do you value in a friend, or what's really important for you? What are your values in a relationship? What must you have? And it really just helps you hone in and have direction and just, a concrete idea of what's important to you and what's a must. And what that does, it whittles down on who you're going to have around you, places you're going to go, things you're going to do. I mean, it's just such a great guideline on direction and what to do and where to go and who to be around. And that was huge to me because it really points out who you are, right? What's important to me, honesty, someone who can be self-reflective, take responsibility, loyalty, right? So I want to be around people that open-mindedness, that are like that, which will then lead me to places that are like that, which then lead me to things to do that encompass that, right? And that's because that's who I am, and that's my identity.
It gives us basically a moral compass.
Oh yeah, I love that.
It really, that's it. And it's so, when we adhere to the list and really make the list, because it's so tangible then of what you will allow in and what you will not allow in. And you are allowed those boundaries. You are allowed the right to say that doesn't work for me. Oh, that's not on my list, or maybe a new one that it isn't on your list, but you say, you know what? I love that. I actually am going to add that to my list.
Yeah, because then too, you're aligning with those things, right? You're co-signing on this is what I'm co-signing on. This is what I'm aligning with. And this is what more I'm going to attract in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you're sort of all over the place, or you don't really know your values, you don't really know your identity, you're around people that you're like, I don't really like them, but you're in a way not desperate, but you'll take what you can get. And we don't want to live with, I'm taking what I can get. Well, it's crumbs, it's something. At least I'm not alone. I'll just hang out with them. I don't really like them that much, but it's someone to hang out with. No, get locked in on your values and who you want to be around, and watch it show up, because your focus will be on, your antennas will be up to find that type of person.
I love it. I mean, and it goes then back once we, tap in and tune into our identity and a list of values, then it's so much more easier to then now build on your safety and your security.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they all tie into each other, right?
Yep.
And yeah, the next one, are you going there?
Yep. So the third one of, the four categories of our self-esteem and building confidence is in our competence. So I love this is because it's so true, our competence in a skill, an ability that we have, something that we're good at. And it really obviously comes into play in our careers, and that most of us end up in jobs we're not that great at because we're never taught to focus on our skills. We are taught to focus on the skills that jobs needed. And I thought,
Or like what society deems good, right? Like, so you're trying to focus on jobs that have a higher esteem or something like this, but that's not really your skill set or your passion.
100%. I mean, that was completely my experience, especially, even I just remember in high school really starting to discover that I loved design. I loved fashion, and writing. I loved writing, but it wasn't deemed important enough. It didn't have any cachet. You can't do that. It was all about like, how are you going to make money,
Yeah.
And so my competence lacked greatly, really, again, until I got sober, because my true calling is to help people, to be of service, to give back. What I learned through pain, through, awful circumstances, I, up until that point, definitely felt low self-esteem because, when I was in advertising, and they were service jobs, but it wasn't this real calling and bringing in wellness and personal development. I was still struggling a great deal, but I needed all of that experience with advertising, with bartending, with real estate. The reason why I really stuck the longest with real estate is because I truly love helping my friends. I get to work a lot with my friends, and there is no greater gift or privilege than to work with my friends that are going through something so intimate and so important, in their life. So I still love real estate. Both Kerry and I still do it, But until you really are working with the skill that you know you're naturally good at, we all have something. And, that's being a painter, that's being a woodworker, that's even being a mailman. There's something to it.
Yeah, or finance or the lawyer, the typical jobs. Great. We all need all of it though. Not one
Exactly.
is more important than the other, which I just find so ironic or like so weird that us wanting to help others, I just thought that was like stupid or like like that people would be like that why would you do like that's just dumb. Meanwhile, that's like we all need that. Like it's probably like the greatest give back or thing that you could strive to do. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's just so weird growing up. It's like I loved this type of stuff and it was like, yeah, but that's dumb.
Yeah, that's dumb. And the most joy, literally the feelings you get, like, because I sponsored women for 18 years of being, what are we coming up on, 19?
19.
Coming up on 19. So a good 16 years of that, I was sponsoring women, and there was no greater joy than after working with someone. Like I can't even explain the fulfillment that you get from it. But again, it was like, I can't do that. I can't further that. That was like as far as it went. And I just, again, like that calling of like, there's more. Yeah, there fucking is a lot more. And that's, Carrie, us reuniting together. Like, yeah, we want this level. We want, or what our goals are, what our vision is. That's the level of help that we want to go to because we're called to it.
Right, exactly. And which makes you feel competent. When you're honing in on your skills and you're acknowledging them and fulfilling them, you feel confident. You feel confidence. And it not, right? Us saying this is stupid, this is dumb, who do you think we are? We're not good enough. Had us feeling completely not confident and insecure and thinking, will we ever be enough? I'm not good enough, blah, blah, right? So
Mhm.
acknowledging and, really grabbing onto your skill set again is on purpose so that you can feel good and be of use because that's why you're given them.
I love it.
Yeah. So that brings us to our next, our fourth, what is it, pillar, our fourth,
Category of building self-esteem, building self-confidence.
which is belonging.
Mm.
And this was awesome and huge because, I mean, I feel like, of course, we all like, you know, on some level know that. But when you really read this stuff and you really look at it and you see the impact it truly has on you and your well-being and your like safety and security and your identity and making you feel confident is belonging, having people or a place or something that you do that you feel you belong to. And it's not just feeling like, you can hang out with and, hang around and, have a good time. And no, it's like somewhere you walk in and you don't have to explain yourself. You talk to each other basically in shorthand. Your
Mm.
hair completely goes down. You're just like, I'm home.
Mm.
Right. And that's a sense of belonging we all need. And I think a lot of us are missing because
Mm.
we confuse it with, well, I feel happy there, or like I feel fun there, or they'll take me. No, we need all to go further and into basically when you're getting with your identity, your safety, security, and your competence, your gang is going to show up. And that's going to be where your belonging is at, right?
Mm.
And that's what I'm finding. So once I got sober, I was in a community where I felt like I belonged, right?
Mhm.
Because we're all on like-minded. We were in like, okay. And, then I got moved out to California and into a cult, but it still was some sense of belonging, right? Because it was a
Oh
group
my God.
and it was a group
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you just felt like, and they were like, oh, you're being completely welcomed in so that you stay. So it was a big sense of belonging, which is, can be a trap. But in the healthy sense of things, we all have to find our people. And that's what Kate and I are finding with doing this type of work. Our sense of belonging is showing up because the people we want to be around is revealing itself.
Actually, the cult is such a fantastic example of when our safety and security from ourselves is so out of whack, because we will be desperate. Anyone will do, because you're filling the void of loneliness. You're filling that void of not belonging.
Right. And also, I wasn't honoring the values I have in people I want to be around.
Yeah.
Everything is just excused and blown off because, it was so like raucous and seemingly self-helpy and all this stuff because good parts of AA were there. So that's a confusion. But I was not connected to my true values, my true identity of what is healthy and good to be around. And that's why all of this stuff is so important to get honed in on, locked in on, and no excuses, right? Because then you get into slippery places and places you shouldn't be and people you shouldn't be around.
Yeah, because I just think the safety and security when you're looking outside of yourself, and yeah, the cult is extreme, but I mean, then because what they're feeding you, you can't grow. You can't get into your own sense of security because they're feeding you and making you just feel so insecure all the time and more fearful, and that you need them
And
to
depend.
fulfill. Yeah, you need them to fulfill it. You feel dependent upon, yeah, on them. So I think what you could do, I love the four, I like that, the four pillars of, building your self-esteem, your self-confidence, and how you start is what of these four do you gravitate to? Because you could start with any one of them, right?
Mhm.
And just ask yourself, because it also can be overwhelming, what's the first thing you can do? That's it. What is the smallest thing that you can do today to move toward this change?
Yeah, I love that because, again, in today's world, it's so like I need to do the biggest thing. I need to get huge immediately, right? Like, what I need to do this big grand thing, which overwhelms us and has us not do anything because it's too big and we're not there yet. So to really pull it down and back to what's the smallest thing I can do actually? What's the smallest step I can take today to get me to just build some confidence?
Mhm.
Taking one little step is what you need to do to build some confidence. And then that gradually gets to little bigger moves and bigger moves. But all of that's revealed when you take the first step. We also all think that we should have all of it in place, knowing exactly what to do, what's to come, how is it going to go, and how's it going to end. That's not how it goes, which is why most people don't start. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. 3 steps down the line. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to take the first step, and then that will open up, ideas on, I'm going to go this way, or I'm going to go that way. The second step. Oh, then I'm going to take this way, and I'm going to take that way. Third step, right? So they all build on each other. They're not revealed all at once.
I love it. And it's a trap that we fall in. I think you have that to the day we die. I think we always will be falling into that trap of, more now. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, just what little steps can you take in just today? Just today.
Yeah, exactly.
Build, to build yourself up, to build a better you, to build the you that you're supposed to, and to build the better you that you're meant to be, right?
Yeah. And such a great example too is like Kate and I, have an idea to do a workshop And I was like, well, we'll put it out there and, we'll have to put it out and get, 100 people to sign up and let's go and like build the website and build the whole thing. And none of us have done anything because that was the idea for a while. And then like a month ago, I was like, well, let's do the thing. All right, we'll get going. And, 100 people. And Kate's like, no, I'm looking to do 3 to 5 people. That's it. And I was like, oh my God. It made me feel like I can do that. The other's so overwhelming. It's not realistic at all.
We're not ready for it. I mean, this launching for 3 weeks. I was like,
exactly. Right.
God.
Right. So that's the point. We're trying to do things that we're not ready for. I'm not ready for that. I don't want to pull up on Zoom to 100 people. I'd be like, no connection, goodbye, right? So to start small, what's the smallest thing you can do? Take that little step for yourself and build from there.
I love it. And just remember, your story matters. So don't abandon it. It will help the person that is now coming up where you once were. And just look, again, at just a few years ago, look for that person that you can now help and take through from your experience. Don't abandon your story.
Exactly. I love that. There's so much good in what you've gone through. And you got to mine it to find the gold.
Yep. Love it.
Well,
all right, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Love you.
I love this. This just, hits home for me of just struggling with self-esteem, insecurity, and building that confidence, building the self-esteem, and learning really to lean on yourself and value what you value is where your moral compass needs to come from.
Yeah, and build that trust within yourself that you do know all the answers are within. And to just know too, the first time you do something, it will suck.
Mm-hmm.
That was huge. I loved when he said that. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, with Jay Shetty. And that just goes back to our things, is like, just start small, right? It's just these little things, little acts that you could take slowly and small, so that you will build upon that and just, build the confidence. Don't scare yourself, right? I'm really talking to myself, like, don't scare yourself out of then not doing anything. It's these little buildups to get to where you want to go. So we love you guys. Please check us out. Always feel free to connect with us on Instagram. Please reach out and give us some topics that you want us to cover, or anything, any feedback that you have for us. Please reach out, and always leave a review if you haven't already, and follow us on Apple or Spotify for our podcast. It really helps when we get our followers.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Love you, and see you next week.
Till next time. Bye, guys.
Stay tuned, guys. We are thrilled to be here with each other, and feel so privileged to try and carry a message of hope and positive change to one other person out there. So please subscribe and review and share our podcast to reach that person. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Soulsessed Twins, and get daily inspo and connect with us.
Let's build this community together.
100%. So come back next week and we'll see you then.
Get soul-sessed with us, Soul Tribe.
That's it. Bye, guys.